Hey everybody out there in the apocalyptic world we're living in right now. All for nothing in my opinion, but I won't go there. What we want to talk about today is the SPI, and I've talked about this before, but I wanted to make another valid point I don't think I've made with this. This is SPI black base. There is no garbage, blues, browns, God forbid white or yellow mixed into this paint. It's a 1-to-1 mix. Tonight it's kind of warm. It's in the 70s out here, but I want to kind of get the show on the road with the jam, so I'm going to use a medium reducer, and there ain't much left, so I wanted to use that up. When we paint the car, I'll be using a slow reducer, and I'll be mixing a cap full of clear coat activator into the base coat. But as we get, this is the point I wanted to make, and I've had this happen before. I'm not somebody who likes to tape up and mask off the car to paint a jam. I don't mind, some overspray. I mean, this has still got to have some spots sanded, so, no big deal. I'm going to be careful with the gun to not, be careless how I spray. But here's the point I wanted to make. A couple years back on this, I painted this and then put the trunk on the car and painted the car. Well, I got sick of a paint line here, so from now on I'm painting my cars with the trunk lid off. Even a metallic color laid flat, you're painting the same angle, same direction, same time, so it's all gonna match. I noticed as I was starting to paint the car, I had sanded all of this, Of course, you got clear and you've got base. Well, some places you go through the clear and you get back down to the base. Well, that base had clear coat activator in it. Well, when that base coat that I'm now spraying on the body reacted to that base coat with a clear coat activator here, it started to lift it. And what I had to do, just to make sure it wasn't going to show up when the car was finished, I had to just let the first coat dry, take some 600 and some wet paper and sand out those areas that was a little bit of a shrivel up effect, and took care of it that way. But so to not have that happen, I'm not going to put any clear coat activator in my base coat for the jams. And when I'm sanding overspray off and getting the body itself ready for what'll be the final sand and the spray, you won't have to worry about paint shriveling up, reacting, because the base coat that'll be on here will be unactivated. So SPI really calls for clear coat activator in their base coat, especially when you get to painting the car. Another thing I've learned is allow a lot of time in between coats. And I've learned that the hard way, having to go back and cut and buff some of my cars I've worked on, and including my own. So you allow plenty of time. If you trap solvents in the first coat of base, you're screwed. If you cut and buff the few days after, the paint's going to shrink, and it'll look like the car has just been painted, and it'll still look good, but it'll look like the car still needs to be cut and buffed. So just not as orange pilled as it was. So keep that in mind. The truck we're working on, again, it's got some of that dieback, that shrink in it. It's not real bad, and I think I'm just going to let it ride, but just give it a final coat of polish. But anyway, I don't want to get off on too many subjects here, but that is really what I want to talk about. So what we're doing here on the car is door jams. We're doing fender jams. That's going to be fun, getting under there. Fender well around the edges. Of course, all the door jams and the back of the deck lid. The hood is Had a few pits that I filled in with some glaze. And this is going to be, since the car is going to be a deep blaze clear, of course, I'm going to do the hood satin hot rod black to break up the monotony. As well as a lot of the stuff under the hood is going to be satin, not gloss this time, because the car itself is going to be black. If the car wasn't black, I'd just go all gloss under the hood. But that's a matter of personal taste. I just try to break it up a little bit, not be so too much of anything. So we're going to get started here. This is, I believe, April the 7th, Tuesday. And this car's coming scary fast. So the next video, I'll probably do a short video about having the jams painted. And we're going to talk about the vintage air. And as you can remember, I've got a whole series of videos from the last Monte Carlo I've done about how to install the vintage air. I may even have to resort back and watch my own video because when you don't do it every day, you can kind of forget. But I've got a video with all the hoses. And also, once this is painted, there'll be no more overspray flying until the car's painted. The doors will be on. The vintage air is going in before the doors go on. You know, work smarter, not harder. Leave the car apart. Put the vintage air in with no doors, no fenders. Then put the car together. I'm also going to be taking this back off. It's just got straight water anyway, so I'm going to drain the radiator, take it out, paint it, paint the, well, it's already painted, I'm sorry, but paint the radiator support with probably semi satin paint instead of just this primer, so it'll hold up better. Briefly show you this. Firewall is painted hot rod black as well as this across here. So like, share, comment. If you have any questions, let me know on the SPI stuff. Again, I use SPI and I also use Tamco, so both great products. Probably wouldn't turn around for the difference on either. I've just gotten used to the the SPI clear. So that's what I'm using on clear. And as far as base coats, SPI sells a black as well as Tamco. But since, you know, kind of order it all from the same place. But if I get a metallic color, I go with the Tamco stuff. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.